And you have been listening to Motion to Adjourn with MP Chris Famous and Dwayne Robinson, JP.
To the person that spoke to me on Front Street and said, "What are you and MP Famous fighting because he hasn't come on for a bit, and I haven't come on when he's been on." I want to say, look, not yet, but in August when he starts talking about that blue and blue, yeah, we be fighting there. But unfortunately, we haven't crossed paths because of our schedule. But trust me, we still like each other a little bit. And still.
But you know what's funny? People notice stuff.
Yeah.
Don't they notice things, right? You don't have to,
Yes.
They be watching. They be watching.
Motion to Adjourn, still a happy team, we're just going to have to work through these schedules. As you know, May has been a busy month and always is for most of us. So just putting that out there. Today, we will have a guest, Miss Claire Mello from the Eliza Dolittle Society. She'll be calling in a few. But before we kick into that, the team here at Motion to Adjourn wants to extend our sincerest condolences to the family of Marco Warren and, Bermudians who have lost loved ones over this period. It's an immeasurable thing, and it's no amount of words that can bring comfort, but we wanted to send our condolences out and to speak on just it's a piece that we in Bermuda as a small community have to remember. Whether you're OBA, whether you're PLP, whether you're Somerset, whether you're St. George's, we are all at most times an hour or 45 minutes away from each other. We are close. So everything that happens in Bermuda, we should consider it our problem. And I feel like we as a people have gotten to a point where we believe that if it's not in our backyard, it's not our problem, unless it really, really hits us where it hurts. And I feel like we need to get back to the unity of the fact that we are all Bermudian, and disagreement does not mean disunity. The reason why me and Chris Famous started this show is because of that very fact, that you can disagree with somebody and it doesn't have to bring disharmony. It doesn't have to bring disunity. We have completely different political ideologies and stances on how we wish to bring Bermuda into a better position. However, being able to disagree amicably and respectfully, and being able to have consideration for each other as Bermudians is the key to returning our island to a state of social wellness. And the reason why I wanted to speak on social wellness is because I feel as though we as a country have really forgotten that part of us. The knocking on your door for a cup of sugar, or being able to leave your door slightly ajar, because even if one of your children is outside playing, they can come in and out, and everyone in the neighborhood is watching them and making sure that they're safe. And we do. I'm not saying that we don't have it, because I know people who are listening are probably saying, well, my community does have it, but I really hope that we remember that as a united front, we can tackle anything. So with that being said, I believe that we have our guest on the line. Miss Mello, are you with us?
I sure am. Good evening.
Good evening. And thank you for taking time out of your busy schedule to sit down with us.
Thank you so much. Thanks for inviting me. Appreciate it. Thanks for having me.
Of course. So for the folks who may not know about what the Eliza Dolittle Society does, would you mind giving us a brief overview of the society and of yourself as well?
Oh, sure. Okay. Well, first of all, I'll tell you a little bit about the Eliza Dolittle Society. So we are a registered charity, and we were founded in 2002 by Mrs. Vaucrossin and Mr. Forrester. And we originally focused our our giving on feeding the homeless. And then in 2010, we transitioned to addressing people that were facing food security or food insecurity. And so we have a pantry located in Warwick, across from the bowling alley, and we provide healthy and nutritious food options to our clients in the form of one bag of groceries per week, and that helps hopefully to reduce the cost of groceries for them each week. So that's what we do. And we raise money from the corporate community, foundations, and individuals were supported in that way to purchase the food, and that food goes in the bags. And then we also get a large portion of our food from donations, like the community event that we're partnering with Declan on, and where people donate. So schools do huge food drives for us, companies do food drives for us. So those are two ways that we get food. And then retailers and wholesalers also donate food goods that are close to their sell-by date. So that means that they're still very good, but they just can't be sold in the grocery stores anymore. So those are the ways that we get food, and we serve approximately 350 families a week.
Wow, that's amazing.
So, and a little bit about me. I've been in the nonprofit sector for over 25 years. Prior to coming to the Eliza Dolittle Society, I was fortunate enough to be the executive director of YouthNet school-based mentoring program. So we mentored, we had over 1,000 mentors at one time in schools, reading to mentors, high school mentors, mentoring their younger counterparts, and adult mentors. So after COVID, it was a real pleasure and a privilege to apply for the job at the Eliza Dolittle Society and to be the lucky recipient.
Yes, and I mean, again, I feel like that work is so amazing. So I just wanted to say thank you for what you do and for what this society does. Could you give us just a little bit of history? When did it come about?
In 2002, Mrs. Vaucrosson, Mrs. Margaret Vaucrosson, and a gentleman called Tony Forrester, they first started it. And they began it with meeting the needs of Bermuda's homeless population. But then in 2010, the organization shifted from feeding the homeless to providing support to people in Bermuda who were facing food insecurity. So we moved. So we used to, lots of people who know Eliza Dolittle from those days know us as providing meals, like a soup kitchen. But we no longer do that. We actually moved to providing groceries instead.
Okay. And do you feel that has been more effective than the soup kitchen approach?
Well, so I've only been there 2.5 years, and since I've been there, we've been providing groceries. But from the feedback from the clients, I would say yes. That has because of a number of things. One, it provides variety. It's non-perishables, so you don't have to cook it or eat it that day. There's a number of reasons. And also, there are lots of other people, especially since COVID, the pandemic. There are a lot of other organizations in the space that are providing meals now as well, like a couple of the churches, Salvation Army, and that kind of stuff. So there are meals available. So I think groceries is very useful.
No, I agree. And just a little, because we like to have the informative portion as well. So, just a brief insight into how it's run and what the structure is. What's some day-to-day activities you might see? Okay.
Well, we're a very small team, so there's myself and two other employees, and they're both about kind of 30 hours a week, and I'm full-time. And then we're staffed entirely by a group of volunteers, about 24 volunteers that rotate throughout the pantry each week. We're open Tuesdays, Wednesdays, and Thursdays from 10 a.m. to 2 p.m., Saturdays from 10 to 12:30. And on any given day, clients come to the pantry. Many people have driven by and seen the line. People sitting there, lining up. They come to the pantry, and they come inside, present their ID, and we tick them off the registration form and give them their bag of groceries. So that's how that works. And then from an ordering perspective, our food pantry coordinator, Mrs. Joanne Harvey, she does all the ordering for the pantry, keeping the pantry stocked. We also have a monthly menu that we created. So each week we have a different menu. And so she'll order the food a week or two in advance for those menus so that we have the food we need for week 2, 3, and 4. And then we have our driver, Mr. Robinson, who does all the deliveries and pickups. So we wouldn't have the food if we didn't have some way of getting it to the pantry. So he goes out to all the wholesalers and retailers that we deal with to get both the purchased food and the donated food.
That's fantastic. And in like leading up to the pandemic, did you feel any kind of shift as far as like demand after the pandemic for your services?
Yes, so I wasn't there during the pandemic. I came on as a volunteer in 2019 in August, but definitely the pandemic really exacerbated kind of food security and the demand for our services just kind of quadrupled. But or exploded, I would say. But so did gratefully, so did the funding, predominantly through the Third Circuit Crisis Response funding. There was sufficient funding that came, to fund our operations. So that was both, that was a blessing. But since then, we haven't really seen the numbers dip back down like you might anticipate. And I think that's because since the pandemic, there's a large number of people who haven't been returned to full-time employment or any employment, or there might be a household that still only one person is employed, or only one person has a full-time job and one person only has a part-time job. So they're still in need of assistance.
Yes, and have you been? Let me phrase this properly. Sorry. Have you guys been keeping track of the amount that purchasing food is? Like, have you seen an increase from your end?
Yes. So as everybody in the grocery stores has seen their increase go up, so have we, because we raise money to purchase food from the wholesalers. And so, and whilst they're very generous and give us a discount, because we're a nonprofit and because of what we do, we have seen an increase as well. So if a can of tuna fish was, I'm just making this up, if it was $1 for us to buy, it's probably $1.20 now, something like that. That's not an exact number, but I'm just, so I'm just saying, yes, we have seen the increase. So it is, we've seen it as well as everybody who goes shopping.
Agreed. So with this, has this presented a bit of a challenge as far as operations, and how have you guys been kind of mitigating that?
Well, not so far. Fortunately, we have a good funding base of donors, of like I said, foundations, corporations, individuals that fund us, and so we've been able to maintain, I think, the same level of food in our bags, but we also get. I just want to say, I can't really express how important it is that these community drives, these food drives that come from events like that Declan is doing, and school food drives and corporate food drives, they provide us with. I think last year it was almost $90,000 worth of donated food.
Wow.
And so that we couldn't do without that. That's hugely important, because with all that food that comes in, all of the stuff that we give out in the pantry, we will put in the pantry, but then some of the other stuff, like kind of beans and other kinds of goodies like coffee and all that stuff goes out in the front of the pantry. And in addition to clients getting their bags when they come in, they can choose any 3 items off the shelf in addition and put that in their bag. So they can take a can of beans, maybe whatever we have. If we have some cooking oil and maybe some cookies, that kind of stuff.
Okay. Thank you so much for sharing. And
Okay.
you did mention drives, but is there any other upcoming charity events that we should know about?
No, not at this time. We're very grateful to Declan for inviting us to partner on this event. I think it's a wonderful concept to instead of an admission fee to bring two non-perishable items. I think that's just a great idea.
Awesome. And just for my curiosity, how would somebody support this the Eliza Dolittle Society, just as a regular person?
You can make a donation on our website. You can. Lots of people. I just got 2 emails today to say, I've got some 4 boxes of granola bars. Interested? Sure. Are you still there?
Oh, sorry, I think that was the technical. That's done.
Technical. Are you still there?
Yes, I'm there. Don't worry.
So people bring by food all the time. So we get people dropping by the pantry with things that they want to donate. I got a couple of emails today saying one lady said, I've got 4 boxes of this. Would you like it? I said, thank you very much for considering this. Absolutely. As long as it's not expired, then we'll be grateful to have it and give it out to our clients. So those are the 2 ways. And yeah, those. And then one other thing I would like to add, because this is, I think, a kind of I'd like to think it's a bit of a shining beacon. On Saturdays, the pantry is run by myself and our program coordinator when I'm not there, and young people. So they get their community service hours. So each Saturday in the month, we have a different group that comes. So it's the Family Center coming this Saturday with their group of boys. Next Saturday, it's a family and their kids. Then the first Saturday, so we have different groups coming each week. So that's kind of neat.
No, that is. And
yeah.
It speaks a lot to a little bit of collaboration between the various charities, huh?
Yes, yeah, it does, yeah. So, and we also work with other organizations like, so seniors' homes and other, like the churches, like Christ Church is a partner, the Transitional Living Center. So if Eliza Dolittle receives an abundance of donations of something, let's say we get, 50 cases of yogurt that we don't think we're going to be able to move, and we'll call up the Christ Church, for instance, and say, hey, would you like some yogurt for your breakfast program on Saturday? Or we'll deliver some to, call up Meals on Wheels, or call up, Home. We work with Home, or call up the Transitional Living Center to say, would you like some Teen Haven if we get a bunch of baby food? So we do that kind of stuff as well.
And I think that's amazing. And I believe that the dial that we heard earlier was Mr. Declan coming in.
Yeah.
Are you with us?
I am. Good evening.
Good evening.
Declan.
Thank you for joining us today.
Most definitely.
So we briefly touched on the event that you are collaborating on with Eliza Dolittle, but if you wouldn't mind giving that in-depth scope for our listeners.
Sure, most definitely. Well, when it comes to, so I've been involved in events for many, many years and done a number of different things with other individuals on the island when it comes to entertainment, whether it's at Cup Match, other times during the year. And in the past, there have been events or collaborative events that we've been able to do in conjunction with the city, etc., which have been free, which is always great because times are hard. And at this time, in conjunction with Rowan Ramatar and Wild Apache Productions, Rise and Shine, and then Veterans in Action, we came together and said, wouldn't it be great if we could have an event the night before the holiday, taking into consideration that a lot goes on Bermuda Day, between the runners early in the morning, the parade, et cetera. So let's try to do an event or have an event that we can do early. So rather than something that goes into the wee hours, 8 to midnight, family event, so you can certainly bring out, your loved ones, and hopefully we can have an enjoyable time. And in doing that, we decided, and we were, very fortunate that people like Sound Concepts, who does sound, light, and stage, were able to, because they knew it was going to be a community event, offer their services free of charge. And many other people have done the same. Some of the, the majority of the DJs, others that were involved. So it's come together really fast, and we're fortunate that we were able to get an international act in Egyptian, is a wonderful singer. He doesn't sing any offensive music, and it's easy listening. A lot of Bermudans are very familiar with his work, and he's coming with his own DJ, Spin City, and then we have we have some local acts in River, Livewire, some local DJs in YGS. Who else is on the bill? Firebeat Unlimited. We have iBreeze, and there's one other DJ I'm trying to remember. But it's a whole night of entertainment, and then putting this all together. It's going to take place next Thursday at Bailey's Bay Cricket Club. So we've actually worked with their committee, their entertainment committee, and they're willing to host it. And we're going to have it there again from 8 to 12. And doing this, I said, okay, it's one thing to have a free event, but is there any way that we can raise awareness and give to a charitable cause that will help those that really need it? Because the theme for the event, and it's actually one of Egyptian's biggest singles, is Serious Times. And for those that might not know, there's a lot of us in the community, or a lot of people in the community, that are going through some very serious times.
Well, before we continue, we have to go to a news break, but we'll be right back with you both to get some more details and hear a little bit more from you. Give us both what you think, Don. And we're back to Motion to Adjourn. Are you both still with us?
Yes, sir.
Yes, we are.
Thank you so much. And you left off on a really pertinent note, which was serious time. So I want you to, if you can pick up from there, because, I mean, it's very true.
Well, I mean, Bermuda, I guess I'll give my perspective. So Bermuda is such a unique place that, you could be gainfully employed and have more than one job and still be suffering. And that's profound, because that typically doesn't happen. And obviously, if you aren't working and you're struggling, then taking care of yourself and taking care of your responsibilities are household. And if you have loved ones and young children, it's that much harder. And I know my day job is in education, and I see it daily. I experience it daily, and I see young people that are in desperate need, and I see parents that are crying out and looking for help. You know what I mean? And they're struggling, and it's real, and it's across the board. It's across racial boundaries, etc. It costs to live in paradise, I guess, is the best way for me to describe it. And it's tough. And for those that, I hope that resonates with a number of people, because there's always, you don't know somebody's story and you don't know somebody's struggle until you start having a conversation with them. You know what I mean? And I'm thankful that we're in a position, myself, Mr. Ramatar, other individuals that are contributing, to be able to do something that I hope people can come out and enjoy. They can have an evening that's not going to cost them anything, and at the same time, they can then usher in the holiday together. So we're hoping that this is something that we can build on, make it an annual event, and also do other things that are community driven to try to help those that are, again, struggling, because we're always going to have need. There's always going to be need.
Agreed. And this is at Bailey's Bay Cricket Club?
Yes, Bailey's Bay Cricket Club. Exactly. They've been very generous to come on board. They're assisting with so many different aspects of the event, and we're very pleased to where they have an active committee and membership that they do a lot of their own community events and community, and what they do for their own community. And our social clubs are, just as a commentary, it's very important for individuals to, if there's something at a social club and they can either donate or contribute or help out, I encourage people to do so, because these environments have been the mainstay for many, many years of our society and our community. and without them, a lot of young people would have been or could have been lost. So it's vitally important, and we're thankful that they're on board and they're going to be there right with us as a partner. And when we form these partnerships, it makes it so much easier. It becomes, as some would say, a win-win.
Agreed. And was it something specific that led you to, the Eliza Dolittle Society?
That's a good question. I think that, and there's no specific. I don't have a specific answer, other than the fact that I've seen, it's now Minister Weeks for for a few years at least was, and he probably still donates his time, and I always sticks out to me having conversations with Michael Weeks, talking about Eliza Dolittle in particular, and some of the work that him and his wife and others were doing, and it resonated. So when I thought about maybe we could do something and people could bring some canned goods, and I said, hey, and it was just Eliza Dolittle was the first charity that came to mind, and sometimes there's a lot of charities on the island, and it has been, and I'm sure Claire could speak to this more so, but charitable organizations are going through a very difficult time. And that's because there just isn't as much to go around as there used to be. So they're going through some serious times as well.
Well, thank you for that. And Ms. Mello, it'd be nice to get a bit of insight into how the third sector is making out.
Well, I would certainly echo Declan's comments that the third sector, first of all, is a large sector, and we have many nonprofits. I'm not sure the exact amount, and we employ a lot of people and work with a lot of volunteers. But the comment that Declan made that the funding isn't there, maybe as it once was, is due to a lot of different factors. That funders, corporate funders, and foundations, they have giving strategies, and those giving strategies evolve and change, and so sometimes you may be supported by that particular organization, but then maybe the giving strategy doesn't necessarily support what you're doing at the time. So you need to be flexible and kind of move and you need to have a good base of funding, so that if one funder drops off or you don't, or the funding dips in a little bit, hopefully you can pick it up by picking up a new funder. So it's always something that you constantly have to be working at, but there's a reason for it. It's not, and sometimes corporate foundations and corporate giving, sometimes their budgets are impacted by markets and by their profits and losses, and so their what they have to give out may also be reduced. Their budget for giving might be reduced. So many of them make decisions, based on that. They might decide to divide their pot up amongst all the people they serve, but everybody will get a lot less. Or they may say, we're going to kind of refocus it this year and give a little bit more to a little fewer charities. So there's a number of reasons.
Mm-hmm. Agreed. Well, before we segue too much, I did want to get Declan to highlight, who's performing at this event.
Sure. So, there's actually, it's a interesting, problem to have, in that we probably have more artistic talent than we have time. So that's a good thing, and I'm a true believer in quality versus quantity, and I don't mind when, whether it's a DJ or a singer, gets less time, because give me your best 15 minutes, or 10 minutes. What is it? So if that's, if you have 5 songs you want to sing, let's hear two of the best ones, and do them to the best of your ability. So on the evening, like I said, we have YGS, which is a local DJ group. Then we have iBreeze or King Jairus, who is very busy. You see him on a lot of events, along with YGS as well. And then Fire Beats Unlimited, which is actually what some people will refer to as always classified as a Christian sound. So they're going to be playing some reggae music, but it's going to be celebrating their faith and their beliefs, and in music, obviously. And then we also have Spin City, who's going to be he's actually the touring DJ for Egyptian, and he'll be basically opening up for or leading into Egyptian. But prior to him, we're going to have a few local entertainers in River, Desmond, he'll probably come with his guitar, and he'll sing some classics that I'm sure the whole crowd will be able to sing along with. And then original live wires, Mitchell Trott, who's probably, in my opinion, definitely one of our best entertainers. He's an all-rounder. He can dance, he can sing, he can, play the, I want to say drums, but it's a few other instruments that he plays percussion on, and he's really, really entertaining. Desmond as well. So they'll open up, and then Spin City will come on, and then from there we'll go right into Egyptian, who will give us many melodies that I'm hoping that the crowd really enjoys. And like I said, I'm really looking forward to it, because I think it's going to be a wonderful evening. Bring your children out. Make sure you keep a close eye, and let's have a wonderful evening and have it together as a family, as a community, and let's usher in one of our biggest holidays, because next to Christmas and Cup Match, Bermuda Day is right there.
Exactly.
And don't forget to bring your 2 non-perishables
That's
your admission.
Correct. And I guess I'll say segue, Dwayne, if you don't mind.
Yes.
Is I in speaking to Claire, I was like, well, are you okay with the 2 non-perishables? And she was like, sure. And then she started explaining to me, which I'm going to let her do, is what those non-perishables look like or could possibly be, because we'd hate for everyone to show up with 1,000 cans of corn. You know what I mean?
Yes.
Claire, you want to explain that a little better?
Yeah. Well, 1,000 cans of corn. We would eventually use them, but yes. So yes, we do have a list of non-perishables, and it includes canned vegetables, canned beans. So not just pork and beans or baked beans, but black beans, red beans, black-eyed peas, all those beans, dried beans. It can be pasta. It doesn't have to be canned goods. It can be pasta. It can be rice. It can be, we give out
peanut butter.
Peanut butter is huge. Tuna fish is huge. Corned beef is huge. And let me think about. Let me think. And canned tomato sauces or bottled tomato sauces are great. Things like, also things that you might not think of, like condiments, like for instance, mustard, mayonnaise, ketchup, and also salt and pepper, the little tiny salt and peppers. Those are really useful. Oil, cooking oil, a bottle of cooking oil is useful, very useful. I'm just thinking. You
said to me also like dishwashing liquid.
So in a survey we did a couple years ago, we asked our clients, what else, what other non-food goods might be important to them, and it was really kind of a couple of categories. One was dishwashing liquid, like kitchen items, dishwashing liquid, tinfoil, paper towel were 3 of the highest, and then in personal care was toothpaste, toothbrush, body soap, body wash, deodorant, those kinds of things. So those are some of the non-food items, but also crackers, cookies, because those are good too. Canned fruit, we do give out canned fruit a couple of times a month. At the pantry. I'm just looking around the pantry in my mind to think about some of the other things. Pancake syrups, because we do pancakes. Give out pancake mix once a month, and so that kind of stuff.
So I think what you said, Claire, is that everybody has one of these items in the cupboard, hopefully.
Oh yeah, it really is anything that you have in your item in your cupboard that's not expired.
Right.
And I will say this, that we get a tremendous amount of donations from lots of different places, and one of the places that's extremely generous to us, two of them are Marks and Spencer's and Miles, and they have items that a number of our clients may not have seen, right, because they may not shop at those places. So they're interesting and different to them, and that's a real delight to see when people pick something off the shelf and say, oh, what's this? What do I do with this? What can I do with this? Right? And it's something new. So even if it's something, that you don't think somebody would like, yeah, send it in, because somebody will take it and try it and use it, or somebody will know what to do with it. Will like it.
Understood. And maybe it might be easier to coordinate as well within your family, right? Because at least if you're showing up with 4 different types of cans, that at least it's a variety coming out of your household, right? So
yeah, and you listen here. It doesn't matter if you want to bring 4 cans of corn, that's fine, because it will go. But we do mixed vegetables, green beans, all those things. But any kind of canned goods, coconut milk, all that kind of stuff, cream. That's very valuable. Canned fruit. And any kind of sauces, barbecue sauces. Summer's coming. People are grilling. Barbecue sauce would be very useful. So.
Okay. Well, is there?
It's not a. Before you ask your next question, I was just going to say I don't think that for those that are thinking about coming, that it's that tall of an order.
Mm.
You know what I mean? And you can look at it from a couple different perspectives. I'm looking at it from a standpoint of we're going to provide the entertainment. I'm confident that you're going to have a wonderful time. So if you come out with an open spirit and an open mind, you're going to really enjoy yourself. So we're going to bring the entertainment. You're also going to be giving back. So it turns into that win-win. You know what I mean? And that's what we want, and that's what we're hoping to build on, because it would be wonderful to do multiple events like this. So hopefully the goal would be to get in a position where we could do something like this again next year. But if it's an opportunity where we could do multiple events throughout the year, then that's what we do. We do a lot of events that people support, we're appreciative of during the year. And those are paid events. And paid events because there's a lot of expenses that go into that on top of other things. But certainly if we can provide this at least on a yearly basis, if not more, it's exciting to us. And we look forward to, in quotes, giving back during these serious times.
Yeah, and I think that's amazing. And it's also kind of an adaptation, because I feel like it's not your typical food drive, but I think it will be extremely effective. And
Yes,
do you believe that this is kind of the direction that we should be going as kind of a community? Because I think the charities will benefit from multiple kind of collaborations in this manner.
I hope so. I hope there's other individuals that participate in events, other organized, whether it's businesses or other. And I think Claire mentioned a couple of businesses that give back, and there's a lot more. And there's a bunch. I know that Dolphin's Variety does quite a bit when we have things going on and charity driven. So we're thankful to them. But there's a lot of businesses that give back that you never hear about, right? And they're not looking for any applause or accolades, right? And the more that we can do that across the board as a community, I think we'll be in a much better space. You know what I mean? Because if I know that, one of your first needs, is, being loved, having shelter, but if you make sure you have something in your stomach, you're going to have that much more of a productive day, week, month, etc. And it's something that many of us take for granted. But there's a lot of people out there that don't know where the next meal is coming from. And that's in Bermuda. We're not talking about, a third world country. We're talking about Bermuda. And that's single mothers sometimes that don't know where they're going to get their children's lunch for the next day. And it sounds like it's like dire straits. And I don't mean to portray it in that way, but there are a lot of households that are having difficulty. You know what I mean? And and I'm not pointing the finger at anyone. It's where we are, and it's real, and people need to recognize that. So let's support your neighbor. If there's something you could do for your next door neighbor, your cousin, your brother, whatever it happens to be. Let's try to do that as a community, because all of us will have a better day, because I know that when people are not in a good space, they do some things that aren't so nice. And if you can be, your belly's full, you might not think about snapping at someone. And, if somebody happens to accidentally hit you, you don't want to, go off the deep end. You know what I mean? Accidents happen, right? So all of this is interconnected, and from my lens anyway.
Agreed. And, we're going to take our final break, but we're going to come right back, and then I will hand the mic over for you to wrap up and let the people know some more details.
Thank you.
Thank you. And we're back. Thank you so much, Declan and Miss Mello, for coming on. I give you guys now the ability to impart anything that you'd like to say to the listening audience before we wrap up.
Sure.
I'll start if you don't mind, Claire.
Go right ahead.
Try 30 seconds or less. Just want to give a huge shout out to David Vieira for some of his graphic works. He's with YGS, and he donated his efforts towards the graphics towards the event. Again, Sound Concepts, Bailey's Bay Cricket Club, Ron Ramatar, Rise and Shine, and all the individuals that have come together to make donations and to be able to make this event possible. I want to thank Brother Dwayne, Brother Chris, for allowing us to have this platform and to be able to let people know. Next Thursday night, the night before the holiday, 8 p.m. We don't start 8 a.m., 8 p.m. to midnight. We're going to have a free event at Bailey's Bay Cricket Club with live entertainment, international act. Egyptian will be there along with a bunch of locals that will keep you entertained, excited, and have a little dance. There will be food vendors there on site between Jamaican Grill, Sid's Seafood, etc. So you can come out and get refreshments and get food and enjoy yourself. So I'm looking forward to a bumper crowd, and as a segue to Ms. Mello, don't forget to bring some non-perishables so that you can contribute to giving back.
Thank you, Ms. Mello.
Thank you, and I just want to say thank you to yourself for having us on, and also thank you to all of our sponsors, donors, and that support all the supporters of Eliza Dolittle, and those are all the individuals and corporations and foundations. But I also want to just touch on something that Declan said about community. And also to say to the community that, for those people that are in need, we recognize that Eliza Dolittle, it takes real courage to come and stand in line and to ask for help. It's one thing to ask for help, but it's one thing to be out there in a line, right there, on and being on the other end of a helping hand. It takes courage to do that. And one of the things that really heartened me when I started at Eliza Dolittle, I started as a volunteer on the registration desk, was the sense of community that our own community of clients have. We generally people come on Tuesday, Wednesday on Wednesday, and Thursday on Thursday, and so forth. But they all look out for each other and care about each other. And if somebody can't get their bag that day, somebody else helps them. Or there's so many people that come and pick up bags for friends and family because they can't get there. There's an amazing sense of community and looking after each other that happens there, and it really is heartwarming. So I just want to end with that because it just really, I think it's an important piece.
It definitely is. And from Motion to Adjourn, from me, Chris, Dawn, and the team over here, we would like to thank you for all that you both do in your regular lives, and coming together now to bring forward this event along with the team behind it. I think it's a spectacular initiative, and it really in line with what we need right now as a community, and that is unity. Absolutely. So
Sure.
Thank you so much for joining
Thank
us.
you.
And please don't hesitate to reach out if you are looking to do anything else that we can lend you our platform so that you can let people know.
Well, thank you so much. And if you ever want to come by the pantry, come stop by.
Definitely.
Come see us.
I appreciate you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay, take care.
Have a good
wonderful
one.
evening.
Okay,
Thank you.
bye-bye. Bye, Declan.
Bye, Claire.
All right. See, now I'm probably got to go down there because my uncle is down there driving all the time. He mentioned Minister Week, so I say I better.
You gotta go down and see and pay your respects.
Yes.
So what's up, Unc? Okay. What you got there, Unc?
Yes.
You know where I stay, Unc.
But I definitely think that this is why we got involved in to do these things. All of us can pull a little bit of our weight, right? You don't have to do anything spectacular, but if you can do a little piece of something with to the
Goes a
people
long
around
way.
you, yes. And if we all did a little piece of something, then you know things would get better. So
Sure.
with that one,
I agree.
you know, I feel like we always say it, but now now we might make it a slogan. Another one in the can.
Another one in the can. I started it. Let's keep it going.
Hey, and you know, thank you again, as we always do. Thank you for listening. We appreciate your support. And as I always invite you, come up to us. Let us know what else you'd like to hear about. And if you are aware of any other community initiatives that need, you know, a little bit of spotlight or, you know, any type of initiative that you feel needs to be highlighted, please send them our way. Okay. So with that, we'll wrap it up and I'll adjourn until next Thursday. I'll see you then.
And you have been listening to Motion to Adjourn with MP Chris Famous and Dwayne Robinson, JP.